It's a Stand On It podcast. It's true.
Come and sit down, you gotta stand on it. If it's for certain, let's have around, you gotta stand on it. Open the curtain, it's going down, you gotta stand on it. Cause I put my stamp on it, so you gotta stand. You gotta stand on it. 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 You gotta stand.
Greetings. Going all in when it's about that bread and butter. Why ain't nobody tell me that Gunna was hard? I know y'all wasn't gonna tell me that shit because y'all living by these fake principles that shit y'all never been a part of. But that shit hard. Hell yeah, that shit hard.
With him and J. Cole?
No. You talking about damn Durk.
Oh,
yeah,
that's the same one.
Let me bring the show in. You just been hot then down. Alright, so I got a guest in the house. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guest.
Yo, it's your girl, Victoria Rosa.
Yeah, we got Victoria Rosa in the house today. And we go talk about, but we gonna have a great show. We got some shit to talk about. First though, let's get into the icebreaker. Who is your worst, who would you say is the worst male actor?
Male actor?
Yeah, the worst.
I don't know him by name, but do y'all watch that Tyler Perry movie when he was cheating on his wife and he kicked her out the house? Bald-headed man?
That Charles. I think Charles was name on the movie when she tossed his ass in the shit in the wheelchair. Yeah. Damn, I don't know better name. You think he a bad actor?
I don't know too many bad actors. Carisha Please. Now, when she was on that little show and did her little snippet, she trying to get into it, but that wasn't pretty good acting.
Who is that?
Carisha from the City Girls.
Oh, see, goddamn. Well, that's an actress, but I guess. For me, I came across this shit just looking at some, it was this movie called Jasper, Texas. And it was about when they hitched that black dude up to the truck and they drug him. And I saw this dude and I'm like, man, this motherfucker is a bad actor in every show I've seen him in. I had to go Google his name. Bokeem Woodbine. Boy, that's one of the worst actors. This dude, I looked at his catalog because I remember I seen him in shit, but I couldn't remember. He was in Jason's Lyric. I think the shit said Crooklyn. And I think he had a role in Life. This motherfucker is trash, yo. Garbage. In Jasper, Texas, the movie, he was absolutely trash. He played like the head of the Black Panther Party. And I'm like, man, he looked like the dude, you know, the people who drive the little tractor thing that load the luggage on the airplane?
Yeah.
That's what job he should be doing. That's his role. He shouldn't be being no actor. No, that's what he... And somebody else, it hurt me to say this shit. Because I'm a fan of his on the show he be on. But when Amari Hardwick is not playing Ghost, he is a trash actor. He's trash. I looked at some little shit he had on Netflix or some other... Yeah, he's not a good actor outside of Ghost. That was the perfect role for him. But, yeah, man. Bokeem Woodbine, I wouldn't even have him on Tubi.
Not on Tubi?
Hell no. Like, you got to see the movie Jasper, Texas. This dude is trash for real. But, anyway, so that's the icebreaker. And we going to get into this. Let me play this snippet from This Is Me almost 2 years ago. Name of the episode was Interracial Dating. So check this out. This was me 2 years ago and folks were saying I was crazy. June 20th, 2019, he was given bail. Stipulations of Durk's bail was $250,000 bond, an ankle monitor, and to follow a curfew where he could not leave between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. In addition, he couldn't possess, own, or be near any weapon. Let that sink in for a minute. I had to take another sip of Joe. But he couldn't possess, own, or be near any weapon. Right? So if any of you have been involved in any kind of street business, you've been around anybody who's been involved in any kind of street business, you understand probation, parole stipulations, you understand all of that. From drug screenings, where you got to get drug tests, all of that. Where you got to go visit your probation officer. I had to go to Greenwood every week to visit my probation officer and pay her, and take a urine sample. So I'm very familiar with the process. And guess what else? I cannot possess a firearm. So very, very familiar with that. So you mean to tell me this individual is out on bond for, it's either murder or attempted murder, allegedly. I don't know what the specific charge was. Really didn't care. I know they said they had him on camera shooting somebody. And nobody is questioning, hey, I thought he couldn't possess ammunition, own a firearm, or any of that. So, like I said, go look it up. This was almost 2 years ago when the media came out and they was making Durk look like this. Oh, he just had this big shootout and, you know, his girl was with him and she was a real ride or die and she held it down and they shot the place up and got the people out of there. The first thing I asked when I saw it, I said, hey, ain't he on probation? And the feds and the ATF came in there and investigated this and nothing happened? Man, you looking too deep into stuff. Even heard people come in talking about, damn, but Durk a real one. Grown men, which was very disappointing, but it shouldn't have been disappointing because I understand how a lot of y'all thinking, but grown men coming in, boy, Durk a real one, boy, like out there doing this and doing that. So fast forward, there was an interview with one of Durk's former artists, let's see the dude's name. And again, he probably was just talking shit, maybe an artist scoring, I don't know. But let's check out what he had to say about what Durk had going on. Let me fast forward it. First off, let's see where we at.
Basically, because young boy, he made certain records, making references and stuff like that. And Durk is basically saying, well, what did you do? You can't make a diss. He said in Chicago, if you wasn't there, shut the fuck up.
Durk, what was you when Duck died, bro? What is we talking about, Sean? What the fuck is we talking about, Sean? What? You did a diss song 2.3 seconds after Duck died, bro. Where was you? Because the feds just picked up Food Numb. And I know if you really had anything to do with that, Food Numb would have just picked your ass up too, fool. So it hit different. You ain't never finna just tell young boy, yeah, if you want that, man, you do that shit all the time, man. Chicago niggas started doing shit like that, nigga. You got on off of doing shit like that. Come on, man. What have you done? It hit different. Cause I'm starting to think that shit with you in India, motherfuckers broke in the crib, that shit was staged, it hit different. Do your homework on, it was staged and then it went left and you really got picked up, motherfucker got picked up. But how you think motherfucker ain't get charged for the whoop? It hit different. Do your homework, Sean. Niggas ain't never get caught for that pipe.
What are you talking about when India was shooting back?
Yeah, if Durk can't be around guns, bro, how he ain't get whooped for that, bro?
So you thinking that they're lying to the media about India shooting back for publicity?
Come on, man. I ain't just gonna throw that on baby like that, but you know, I'm talking about Durk. It hit different. Them two different people.
Now, his former artist, FYBJ Main, is talking about that same shit. Like, any nigga with half of a brain who understood anything, I said this almost 2 years ago. Like, this man on probation and he getting caught with Glock 19s in a shootout with people breaking into his house. And y'all look at this like, boy, this the realest shit. And the reason I spend time exposing this type fuckery, because this the shit we feed our kids. And then the kids want to sit around like, boy, Durk is a real one. Durk, fuck no. Like, don't fall for that shit, man. And stop letting your kids get so engulfed in these rap beefs to where they start thinking like they're part of the crews and they hate this one over that. I ain't got nothing to do with none of that shit. If a motherfucker make good music, that's what I listen to. Like, the music. Like I was saying at the beginning about that Gunna shit. But that new song he dropped, that shit hard as fuck. Like, so, hey, damn who don't like it. But, I'm gonna just tell y'all, that's why y'all gotta come to this podcast to get that real shit. Because other motherfuckers, all they go do is they go try and get some clickbait or whatever they done seen on the other blog sites, and they just go agree with it. They not go against the grain. And this shit ain't popular either. I said this about MMO Lil Mexico, a rapper that's from Gray Court, South Carolina. Like Buddy's music, wish him nothing but the best. I hope he damn keep going up. When he, air quotes, got signed to OTF, I said, man, that's a stand beside me deal. Man, what? You sound like you hating. Bro, I know it because Benny the Butcher offered me one of those. It's a stand beside me deal. And I said then, niggas thought I was making jokes. That chain ain't gonna get no bigger. And they were like, what the hell you mean? He gave him the little OTF pendant. But think about artists you done seen sign the CMG. Them niggas come back with the bigger chain. And you always see them with Gotti. When have you seen Mexico with Durk? Besides when Durk came down here and did that concert. It's a stand beside me deal. They give you $50,000, maybe give you a little chain pendant. And they say, hey, you go do what you do. I'm going to give you these 50 right now. I need 150 to 200 back though. It's a stand by me deal. I know what I'm talking about. See, these other folks, they just see what the media put out, and then they say, oh, this what it is, yeah. No, bro. Like, not at all. Y'all gotta stop that shit, man. Y'all just fall for anything. But I wanted to start it off like that, and I brought my lady on the show today, and y'all probably think again he on some crazy shit, because I know you see the DeSantis 2024 thing in front of the damn computer. But again, I'm not just going to listen to what people saying in the media and what people telling me. If I see a mass of people hating somebody, I'm going to go research them. Because usually if that's what's going on, they on some real shit. That's why you got a mass of people hating this person. I'm not going to allow the media to feed me. So when I saw he was coming to Greenville, I said to my lady, hey, you want to go? She was like, yeah. We got our tickets, and we went. Baby, tell them about your experience when we first paint the picture for them how it was when we pulled up on the scene.
So it was some protesters sitting outside. We walking in from the car, and they're like, hey, you in the yellow dress, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I said, God bless you too. Love America.
For sure. And the lady behind him was like, that's great. Like, what else was you going to say? Like, she was impressed by how she handled it. I didn't even hear it. I just heard her respond. But if I would have heard it, I would have just said something like, it's people like you the reason why the country is the way it is now. Y'all standing over here protesting folk going to Florida, protesting the LGBTQ, all this other shit. And let me paint the picture a little bit more in depth. There was nobody when we pulled up except the protesters. There was nobody that looked like us. Ugh. Like, when we was walking up, I gotta keep it real. The people working the event, it was like they saw unicorns. They was like, hey! And then they immediately went to, welcome, we so glad to have y'all. Motherfucker from Fox News interviewed me. Don't know if it's coming out. Don't know if it will come out. But he was like, hey, I'm from Fox News. Would you be down to do an interview? Absolutely. He came and asked me, he said, what do you think about Trump versus DeSantis? And then he asked me some other, I forgot what else he asked me.
I couldn't hear because I was standing off.
Yeah, but I gave Fox News a little interview, so if y'all see me on Fox News, hey man, I was just out there. But it wasn't nobody, and when we look at the actual crowd, would you say it was more packed than the Rich Homie and Jeezy concert?
No.
Shit.
The reason why I wouldn't say that because the stadium that we was in for the Jeezy was way bigger than that one. But it was a lot of people.
That was the same room.
No.
Yes, it was.
No.
That was the same room.
No.
They only got the one?
No.
That was the same room, I'm telling you.
TD Convention Center got a whole bunch of rooms.
That was the same one we saw the Jesus shit in. Because we came up the escalator, and it was right there. That was the same shit. Because they had, remember when we got off the escalator at the Jesus shit, they had the bar set up right there. It was the exact same room. Because when I was looking around with all them folks, I'm like, boy, it really is standing room only. I'm talking about, but they had motherfuckers by the door. They had motherfuckers behind us standing up. Like, that shit was packed. But we gonna get into a little bit of what, so a lot of what people saying about DeSantis, he's racist. He don't want black people to know about critical race stuff. He ain't doing nothing for his state. But we gonna dispel all that today because I'm gonna just play snippets of the interview and we gonna pause it periodically to talk about what we heard live versus what we sharing with y'all now too. So here go the first one. Get it queued up.
All on the stage there, and look, it happens. Not something that you want to see for anybody, but unfortunately, I think that was kind of a metaphor for how our country is going right now. Because we seem to be stubbing our toe, falling down, not doing things the right way. The country's clearly going in the wrong direction. Look at what's happening with the southern border. Look what's.
So he opened it up talking about, in case y'all missed that, Uncle Joe took a tumble the day before and fell when he was speaking, and he liking that. He was like, yo, how that's just significant. It's symbolic of where we are with the country. Like, and tell them about the lady who was beside you talking.
Oh gosh, yeah, she was talking. She was like, I love this. I moved down here. She came from Hawaii. I moved down here from Hawaii. I got family that moved down here to Florida. I am voting for him. Who she said, what was the lady name?
Oh, Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
She was like, I love Nikki Haley. I was like, I got to see what she talking about. I would love to see it, but I got to see what she was talking about.
Right.
But yeah, she was talking about, I love him. He stands for the right things. All that.
Man, let me tell y'all this. I was so comfortable there, you would have thought I was missed a lot of folk that looked like me. Everybody was nice, polite. When we went through security, dude was cracking a little joke about having more than one phone. Like, wasn't nobody out of line. Like, and again, there was I think I seen one black dude standing to the side. Mm-hmm. But it was a whiteout in that motherfucker. Like, you was at a Heat game.
I'm not going to even lie. My experience, I felt a little uneasy because I didn't know if somebody was going to come out with some guns shooting everybody. I know that's kind of weird, but that's my personal experience. I'm like, oh my God, I hope it's not nothing crazy. Don't nobody come up here. I hope.
Well, white men love you anyway. So
I was a little uneasy because I couldn't
tell.
Because I fit in everywhere. I'm not gonna. But inside I was like, okay. But once we sat down and everybody was talking and they were, I felt a little bit better.
Yeah, it was great. Let's keep the video going.
This. 5 of the 7 wealthiest counties in this country are suburbs of Washington, D.C. How does that happen? Washington's not producing very much other than mountains of debt and a lot of hot air, and yet you have this wealth that's there near our nation's capital. It's because it's the political...
And see, that's why these folks don't like this man. This man be saying the shit how it is. Like, if you look in, I'm this type person. If I hear some shit, I'm going to go try and fact check it, research it. So I start researching what kind of goods and shit are being produced in Washington. And to his point, very little. Unless it's related to government or politics. The Washington Commanders are their biggest claim to revenue, and that's a pro football team. And the Washington Nationals, which is a pro baseball team. Outside of that, you ain't got no goods really coming out of here, but it's one of the wealthiest counties in the world.
Yeah, top 5.
Well, that's crazy. All right, here we go.
Country is in a bad state. I don't think American decline is inevitable. I think it's a choice that we as Americans will be making over these next few months. And I'm running for president because I think we have an opportunity to choose a better path, to choose a better course, and to reverse the decline. We need to restore sanity to our society, normalcy to our communities, and integrity to our institutions.
All right, so let me ask you this. He said we need to restore sanity to our society, normalcy to our institutions. What you think about that?
I truly believe that.
Okay.
We do, because it seems like everybody done lost their fucking mind. I'm not going to even lie, like, how they want to put their beliefs on you, and you supposed to go by that doesn't make sense to me at all. Mm-hmm. 1. 2, everybody is delusional. Everybody's just like, okay, I'm just going to believe what I want to believe instead of believing facts. And that bothers me so much.
You know what else I realized too? Just people now, and like you said, delusional. 2 things happen. When you come to people now with facts, they get so upset with you.
Oh my God.
If it goes anything against the programming that they've received, they get mad at you or they label you crazy.
And which is crazy to me is because you're getting upset because what you believe is your beliefs.
Right.
And what I believe is my beliefs, but I have facts behind mine, and then you want to say, oh, well, this is phobic. You're a bigot because you don't see it this way. That shit is beyond me.
That's what they say. You got this world where people are just, they have lost, it's like the majority of society has lost all common sense.
Yeah.
They want you to come to a common ground with a bunch of people who don't have common sense. Mm-hmm. So how the hell we supposed to ever reach a common ground? Like I said, when we open up with the opening, I said that 2 years ago about that Durk situation. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers, nah, you crazy. Like, what you talking about? And the media do this all the time. I talked about it last week. The way the media spin shit. And then people, they don't go and research. They just hop out there. Like the whole Bruce thing.
Bruce.
Talking about them banners downtown. And people didn't research shit, just went off social media. And then I even had one person hit me up like, bro, that shit was hard. Like, I didn't even realize it was more than one banner. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you?
I literally had a conversation with a coworker today. I was like, you going to the festival next week? Oh, I'm not going. I seen 2 white people. I said, did you hear that from Bruce? Did Bruce tell you that?
Bruce, you gotta stop, man.
She said she seen it, but I believe she seen it on social media. Didn't see it press. But
did you tell her it was 50 banners?
Yeah, and I told her it was all nationalities.
All nationalities.
But I do want to say this with the upcoming festival. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we all know this is supposed to be Gay Pride Month, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Dwayne Wade reminded us of that last night at the Heat game, but go ahead.
Okay, so why did we? How long ago? 2 years ago, they made it a national holiday. Juneteenth or something like that.
Oh, Juneteenth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Juneteenth. Why did they give us Juneteenth in a Gay Pride Month?
You know why?
Why?
Agenda-driven techniques and methods. So now, that's why last week I talked about that when they're telling people not to go to Florida.
Yeah.
Notice now they're saying the same NAACP that had an issue with the LGBTQ. Now they couple together like, don't go to Florida because they hating on black people and they got something against the LGBTQ. When did y'all form an alliance?
Together we rise.
Man, that shit, man. I can't take these folks serious, man. All right, here we go.
A leader, and there are times when you're called upon to exercise leadership. And so when COVID was raging, when Florida saw fit to follow a different course, I had to buck the media, the left, the bureaucrats, Fauci, even some Republicans, to do what I think was right. That was not cost-free. I faced a lot of incoming. I faced a lot of attacks. More attacks than any governor has ever faced, probably in the modern history of our country. I had supporters telling me, man, I know you believe you're doing what's right, but you're getting killed. And
these is all facts. You remember when we were shut down, motherfuckers was still going to Florida to vacation. Because they like, man, Florida's still rolling. Like, chaps in school down there. Like, hey, we going to Florida. So, knowing this is what we always known, because we didn't really change our approach to the whole shit.
No.
We definitely went on the vaccine train. We didn't get the jab that a lot of y'all got. We threw jabs at people who was getting the jab. And y'all listening to Dr. Fauci every day.
What did he call him?
He said it's Fauciism.
Fauciism.
Yeah, it's Fauciism. My aunt sending me shit down daily. Be careful. Wear your mask. Make sure. Did you get the shot? No. And I'm not wearing a mask.
No, ma'am.
But again, the media had sadly programmed them. Like, they got fearful and caused the country to shut down, and then now they want to blame. But let me just tie this shit together for y'all really fast. They want to blame now the current status of the country as far as, like, you notice the debt ceiling talks right now?
Ooh.
Another $1 trillion debt ceiling relief package has been sent to Biden. And guess what? They blaming the economy taking a fall because of COVID-19. No, the hell it didn't. It was misspending.
Yeah.
COVID-19 had nothing to do with that. It was misspending. COVID-19, they shut down the country, or tried to in most areas, to really get another agenda behind it and say, okay, so we can blame our misspending on this. People weren't able to go to work, so we stepped in as the American people and gave stimulus packages out to help the American people. No, y'all did not. Mm-mm. Because if you was helping the American people in the front door, why was y'all sending all that money out to Russia through the back door?
Man.
In the Ukraine. My bad. Sending it to the Ukraine for a fight against Russia that we ain't had nothing to do with.
We did. But, last time, I have to censor what I say because YouTube blocked us about certain things that I want to talk about right now, so I can't say it. Right. But you know why.
Mm-hmm. They probably go block this one too.
Well, if we don't spend the technical terms and things, they can't.
Yeah.
Too much.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
Leadership, though, is not about entertainment. It's not about building a brand. It's not about virtue signaling. Leadership is about producing results. And in the state of Florida, I'm proud to say we have produced results that are second to none. We are, of course, the nation's fastest growing state, highest net in-migration of any state every year since I've been governor, ranked number 1 in economic freedom, ranked number 1 in education now by U.S. News and World Report, ranked number 1 in education freedom, ranked number 1 in parental involvement in education, which is very important. A 50-year low in our crime rate, and no state income tax. Y'all should try that sometime in South Carolina. I'll tell you, you'll like it.
So, you know I had to go look at all that shit.
Yeah, it's facts.
These is facts.
Yeah.
Everything he's saying, these is facts. Mm-hmm. This is what he's done since he's been the governor of Florida. And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you because he's a politician.
Yeah.
So ain't none of this shit going to be 100. But what the media has tried to paint him as, man, that ain't that shit. Go do your own research for yourself. But what people get caught up in, oh yeah, well, he's in a red state. And black folk, y'all got to cut that out. Go do your research. Out. We voted Republican in the beginning. Mm-hmm. We went Democrat because of false promises that was made. Didn't happen. And then now what they did, all Republicans are racist. That's the spin they put on it now to keep us away. Remember I told y'all last week, Joe Biden, what he say? Oh, you ain't black if you don't vote for me.
Boy.
And now we hearing the same shit. You got this man who is factual what he's done, what he's doing, and the shit he talking about. And it's a part later that's probably gonna blow some of y'all minds that I'm gonna play. Y'all gonna be like, what the hell? But yeah, y'all remember Dade County is in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. 98% black. Dade County. Kodak Black, Lamar Jackson, Trick Daddy, Trina, all that type shit.
You don't know them.
You don't know them. Why they love this man? But hey, what you think about that, baby? What he was talking about with the state of Florida, what he done did?
I was amazed because, again, I wasn't too far into, like, listening to Republicans. When I should have voted for Trump. I'm not going to even lie. That's just how I feel. I should have. But listen to what he's saying and his principles. It lines up with mine. Mm-hmm. It lines up with how things should be rebuilt as a country. But I asked you while he was speaking, is he really going to be able to make this happen? Mm-hmm. You can do it in the state of Florida because you are the governor. But when you become the president of the United States, how are you going to make that really happen? That's my question that I want to know.
Got you. All right. Let's keep the video rolling.
We've stood up for the Second Amendment by enacting constitutional carry legislation. We're tough on crime, and we've done things like ensure that these criminals have to post bail. No free get out of jail free. Fentanyl dealers are going to go to jail for a long time, and we've even authorized the death penalty for pedophiles in Florida. And we're not defunding the police. We're going to support the police. We're supporting the people that wear the uniform. And we've...
So I'm going to pause there. Go ahead. I'll just take it.
So I did do some things, a little research on that part as well. Mm-hmm. He told any police, y'all come down. If y'all don't got fired, come down and we'll accept you. The issue with that is...
With a bonus, too.
With a bonus.
$5,000.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's accepting officers that done been charged with murder. Well, not charged. Accused of murder. Mm-hmm. Accused of rape. Mm-hmm. Accused of assault. Mm-hmm. Accused of targeting a different demographic.
Right.
So, how is that helping?
Well, you said a key word, accused. So think about it like this. If they accuse me of murder right now and I ain't kill nobody, and a job say, I ain't gonna let you get a job because you was accused of murder. I beat my case, never was convicted. What's the difference?
Well, it's different with cops because they get paid leave and then they can retire without even getting.
But accused versus convicted is totally different.
But I understand that. Mm. But if you're going through trial or say for instance, you take a leave, you was like, okay, I don't want to, well, it's not even that case with you with regular civilian people. But if we're going to let you leave you got paid leave and we're going to let you retire. You don't even go, the case doesn't even get charged.
If the case don't get charged, like most of the time, I know it's probably one-off cases where it hadn't. They know they don't have enough evidence to go to trial. It ain't no difference with a civilian. The prosecutor will look at the case, or the solicitor will look at the case and say, we don't got enough to take this to trial. Because they know it's a high propensity that we're not going to win.
But it's two completely processes when it comes to a civilian and it comes to a law enforcement person. But I
get it. I ain't gonna condemn him over that though.
No, I'm not gonna condemn him over that particular piece. Because again, I agree, our values and morals align. I just wonder about little small things like that. That's
a good point. I would say this: we got Colombia recently. They done had so many killings, shootings, all kind of shit.
That's the gang capital, right?
The gang capital. It was this case of this. I think she was 17 at the time. She had went missing, but then now she's on trial because her boyfriend, and this other dude killed this other 17-year-old. The dude that killed her was already out on bond for another murder. And had charges before that, and that's what the sheriff down there was saying, like, we got to do something. And now, since it's becoming such big news, they trying to stiffen the laws, like, we gonna stop letting these folks get out on bail. And that's what he's saying, like, we not playing that shit. Think about this. You know how sick legislation has to be when you keep having sex offenders that keep getting out? And they done did it 1, 2, 3 times and registered as a sex offender. They still find them with the material. They still doing this shit. You know how sick legislation has to be to allow that to happen?
Well, you have to look into the legislation. They actually have pending cases with the same shit going on. And hopefully he'll be able to go in office and change a lot of things that relate to that. But the party itself has a whole bunch of rape and...
Yeah.
All of that.
That's why he said, like, now we have it where if you're a pedophile and you doing this sick shit, you're getting the death penalty. We go fry your ass. And I completely agree with that shit. I never understood, like, why y'all keep giving these folks chance after chance, mental evaluation. Oh, they might be sick. They might be this. They might be that. And again, this might not be popular, and I'm not trying to minimize what anybody has went through. I was a victim of molestation as a kid. That ain't made me want to go out and fuck with no other kids. Like, it don't. It make me be highly defensive of kids, sometimes to a fault, where people be like, hey, man, ease up. Everything will be okay. No, I'm always questioning, man, who that kid with? What they doing? Why the folk around this kid like this? Like, no, like, I don't buy that shit either. Like, oh, well, they was a victim. R. Kelly tried to come with that shit. Oh, I was this. Nah, man, that's a choice.
You know that falls into okay, so people be able to identify as this, it's a mental health thing with people saying, get into that. It goes into the pedophilia and all of that. Yeah. Oh, once we allow this, now we can open the door to allow this to happen. So the gateway is getting ready to be open, where this is going to be like, oh, this is a mental state.
You know, and I knew too that this world was insane to what
you said all the time.
They don't call them pervs no more. They don't call them pedophiles. They're now calling them minor attracted people.
Somebody gonna get.
When you giving motherfuckers a name, a bougie name to touch kids,
thing, yeah.
Bro, come on. It's minor attracted people. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Action to combat illegal immigration, including banning sanctuary cities, cracking down on smuggling of illegal aliens, sending National Guard to the southern border, and even sending illegal aliens to beautiful Martha's Vineyard.
But see what the media took with that, when he first talked about illegal aliens, they said he had a problem with Hispanic people.
Yeah, and they did twist it. They twisted it all the way to the left. But what I want to say is, even because it's the bill 1718 bill that he passed in Florida about immigrants or illegal aliens coming through, that is damaging a lot of people who have farms, a lot of people who have local businesses. Yeah. They're losing a lot of profit from the situation because a lot of them are leaving.
Right. And like, again, as I said last week, what's the difference between these people locally who say, boy, you go to Berea, it look like Mexico.
But
you go here.
But our governor is not making it where you can actually go to jail for it.
I know, but the point I'm making is you don't have a problem saying that at the local level. Mm-hmm. But when he said at the national level, like, I'm not allowing this in my state. Like, I'm not going to allow illegal immigrants to come in and make tax-free money when I got hard-working, tax-paying citizens here. I'm taking care of y'all first.
And
what's the problem in it?
See, my thing with that is, and let me say, I don't want to say I agree or disagree on that, because we are the United States. We are the home of brave. We are the home of bringing people that we welcome everybody. But when it comes, it's not even the illegal aliens or immigrants that's getting fought for it. It's these big corporations or these big farms that they are American citizens that's getting hit behind it. Look at what's happening in Tallahassee.
Yeah. I can agree with that. All right, let's keep it going.
Digital currency. If you don't know what that is, they're going to try to do this. Not when I'm president, they're not, but they're trying to do it now. You're not going to have financial privacy or freedom if they get away with it. We won't let them get away with it. And in Florida, we're blocking. We're the first state in the country to eliminate DEI from our public universities.
And he got me on that one.
They say it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, but in reality, it's an ideological agenda that they're trying to jam down people's throats. DEI, as it's practiced, really means discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination, and that has no place in our public institutions.
Baby, I can already see you hot on the button.
Yes.
Comment on.
Listen, first of all, I don't know if y'all seen this big thing. You remember I told you about the Fed now?
You did tell me that.
First, the government shouldn't be that far up our ass to know if we buy a fucking popsicle out of the fucking store. That shit irritates the fuck out of me. And then on top of that, they want to funnel everything through every single thing. I'm with him on that. Mm-hmm. I don't need y'all in my business that much.
Yep.
Y'all get y'all taxes. We pay those taxes. Y'all get y'all money, which is crazy to me because you pay taxes to work. You pay taxes to eat. You pay taxes to live. You pay taxes to drive. Basically, it's recycling your own money to pay taxes. For
sure. And I love what he said about that DEI, because that's all you hear now. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if you say anything outside of the agenda they pushing with that, oh, you hating. You hate these people. You homophobic. You racist. You this or that. No, it's not. Like you said, that's indoctrination. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not about inclusion. That's the bow they try and put on it. That it's about inclusion. It's about that indoctrination. Let's keep the video going.
Vaccine path.
Hold on. Pay close attention to this area. This one we go watch this a little bit longer. It's going to be about 3 minutes because this talking about these kids, man.
Yeah.
Passports, no COVID shot mandates, MNRA mandates, emergency use shots, no gain of function research in Florida. But of all the things that we do, one of the things I'm most passionate about is the issue of education. Because I see that issue not just through the lens of an elected official, but also through the lens of a dad, of a 6'5" and a 3-year-old. And I just believe, and my wife believes, that the purpose of our schools is to educate kids, not to indoctrinate kids. The schools, parents have the fundamental right to direct the education and upbringing of their kids. Schools and the school system serves a purpose. It supports the community, but it does not supersede the rights of the parents. And in Florida, we've made that clear in our laws. We've enacted curriculum transparency legislation so that every parent in Florida has a right to inspect the curriculum that's being used in their kid's school. And you would think that, of course, parents should know what's being taught, but there's a lot of people that want to lock the parents out. They don't want the parents involved. Why do they not want the parents involved? Look, as a teacher, the more the parent is involved, the better the student is going to do. The hardest students to reach are the ones where the parents aren't involved and don't care about their performance. So the only reason you would want the parents not involved is if you think that the parents represent an impediment to you imposing your agenda on their kids. So we have the parents involved. We know it's important. So what happens is, and this is sad that this is the case, there is smut in the schools now. There wasn't when I was growing up, but there is now. And so parents now in Florida can blow the whistle on this. So if in their 5th graders' library, there is a book with pornographic images, they can say, wait a minute, that's not age appropriate. And so, and it's not, and the schools will remove. Now the media will try to tell you that that is equivalent to, quote, banning books. But first of all, any adult can get any of these books. Nothing's banned in Florida. But you have to make a decision how to curate books in a library or a classroom. You could have a book on George Washington. There's 50 other books you could have. Does that mean you're banning the other 50 because you're not having? Of course not. So you have to make judgments about what's appropriate. And this stuff is not appropriate. So we did a press conference, and we called it Exposing the Media's Book Ban Hoax. And before I talked, before the parents talked, we played a video that just showed the images of what the parents objected to. The news stations covering that press conference had to cut their feeds because they said it was too graphic to show. Well, if it's too graphic for the 6 o'clock news, how is it okay for a 10-year-old school child?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So when I went back and checked this too, but I already had seen some of it in the beginning. The media just put out Governor DeSantis bans books in Florida. That's all they put out there.
And you remember me and you had a debate about this sitting on the couch.
We did.
And I'm like, I seen it on TikTok. You're not going to tell me. You was like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, the lady is physically recording what they took out the school library.
Yep.
And it was everything, like everything. But then, like, listening to him, like, did they just put him in them bins just to have some content?
They do that shit, yes. To get people to hate. Like I said, when I see a lot of folk hating somebody, I'm tuned in to what they got going on. Because it's a reason why they hating these people. Like, if they was just saying the right thing, going along with what everybody else doing, he would be, the whole country would be backing him. It's a reason that they hate this man. And when he was saying this about these kids, I saw that test they did. So it was a book that, and it came up when it was all the drag queen story hour.
Yeah.
So they had a book which had images in there that were completely inappropriate. Some of them pornographic images. He didn't even tell when they did the whole demonstration. He didn't even tell the people where these images came from. They just threw them out there, and people was like, "Oh!" The news cut the feed, and they was like, "You realize where this is? This is the material that's being presented to your kids or being put for your kids to ingest." So again, man, you gotta make sure you do your research. Don't get caught up in the messenger sometime, because I'll be the first to tell you, there's motherfuckers I don't fuck with, but I've heard them say some real shit, and I'm like, okay, let me separate the message from the messenger, because even though the messenger is flawed, the message is on point. And so I've started to try and do that shit.
It's just hard for me.
I know, shit, it was hard for me. It's still hard for me. But I'm not just going to shut out what this man's saying just because he's a Republican and black people, we're not supposed to vote for Republicans because Republicans, all of them are air quote racist. I don't agree with that.
I don't think that's the case with black folks. I think it's the case that agenda, not necessarily racist. I think it's more of they don't care about poor people well-being, which is the minority.
Right. And I'm going to tell y'all some shit. This was, man, probably 10 years ago, because I think, I want to say my daughter probably was in 2nd or 3rd grade then, went to a parent-teacher conference. The teacher pulled us to the side leaving out and said, hey, don't take this the wrong way. When somebody leave with saying don't take this the wrong way, it's probably some wrong way shit.
Yeah.
But what she said, she was like, you know, y'all's daughter, she do the right thing. She has her moments, but we could tell she's raised right. We could tell y'all involved parents. The kids in here who really need it, who really struggle, who really have behavior issues on a daily basis, we can't get their parents to come up and talk to us. We can't get the parents to be involved. They don't come to parent-teacher conferences. They don't come to any of the little luncheons or anything they have with the kids. So that's the point he was making, like, and I seen people posting shit like this on Facebook. Oh, no, DeSantis is wrong. And I had typed it up one day to this one chick who had did it, but I didn't even hit send.
You should have.
When the last time you went to a parent-teacher conference? Because I know her. And I know she's not an involved parent. So, she's not. I know her. She ain't no involved parent. Like, she's just not. So, you getting the attitude or you want to say what this man's saying, then you go up there. That's what he said. When they don't want you to be a part of it,
yeah,
that's why they get mad. But all right, let's keep it rolling.
Eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools. We're not teaching kids to hate our country or to hate each other based on their race. Instead, we're putting a renewed emphasis on teaching American civics and teaching about our Constitution and our nation's founding principles, and that the idea that our rights are endowed by our Creator, not by the government, and making sure people understand why people have been willing to fight and die for this country, because all the kids that come out of our school system, they're going to go 100 different ways in their life, but all of them will be citizens of this republic. And we have to graduate these kids with a foundation so that they're not listless vessels as citizens, and they actually have an appreciation for the enduring principles that make us unique as a country. So we're making progress in Florida on that. We've also drawn a very clear line in the sand. It's inappropriate in schools for a teacher to instruct a student that they were born in the wrong body or that their gender was a choice. No gender ideology in the schools. And when we did that, parents in Florida were so thankful. And this is not just Republicans. I mean, parents across the political spectrum, they want education focused on true education. They don't want this stuff injected, particularly in these elementary school classrooms. And so they were very happy. Now, the left was not happy with us. The media was not happy with us. We also had a company in Central Florida that some of you may have heard of that wasn't happy with us. But, you know, as governor, I'm there to defend the people of my state. I am not going to subcontract my leadership out to a woke corporation based in California. And so Disney could say what it wants. And I know they're the 800-pound gorilla for many decades in Florida, and they get what they want, but the sexualization of children is wrong. It's wrong when it's done in a school curriculum, and it's wrong when it's done in children's programming, which is what they're trying to do. And so we stood up for what was right, And we also, look, we reevaluated. They had a ridiculous arrangement in Florida where they controlled their own government for 50, 60 years. They were exempt from laws, major tax breaks. No one else enjoyed that. Basically joined at the hip with the state of Florida. But look, we couldn't be joined at the hip with the company that's going in the direction of the sexualization of minors. And so we ended Disney's self-governing status in the state of Florida.
And that's facts. Go look it up.
That's been going on, though.
Yeah, Disney, man. And again, people just, it's harmless. And
absolutely not. You can see all the stars now that grew up through Disney and what they talk about now. What I love about this part is don't push no shit on my child that I'm not teaching my child.
Hell yeah.
If it ain't necessary in regards to sexuality, do not teach them. If you're not teaching them about the basic reproduction system,
right,
they don't need to learn about that unless that's something I'm teaching them.
For sure.
I do not. No, I do. I don't like that.
But you got teachers coming out to kids and, this is our little secret. Don't even tell the parents that they coming to school changing and doing other shit.
And to me, that's molestation or child. That's no. I'm gonna keep a secret with you. I'm gay.
Nah,
why are you telling an 8-year-old, 10-year-old, and 12-year-old that?
And I'm gonna say this. I wanted to highlight before we move on about that critical race theory.
I really feel I feel like critical race theory should be taught in schools. I feel that way.
Why?
Because we need to know our history. Not saying that all critical race theories or try to aim it towards everything, but we need to know the true history about things. And it's a lot of things that's covered up in regards to darker color skinned people and lighter color skinned people. That is not taught. You only see bits and pieces in Black History Month, but we need to know what actually happened. I feel like that should be taught.
So do you know what the basis of critical race theory is?
We talked about that, but in the same sense is we still need to be taught about that. It's some things that might not need to be taught, but it's a lot of things that need to be spoken about.
So let me give you this perspective on it, right? Critical race theory is basically inherent racism. So he's not saying leave out Eli Whitney and the cotton gin. He's not saying leave that type stuff out. He's saying, and let me bring it to you at this level. You might not have experienced this in your family, but I can speak to it because I have. You got shit mama and daddy used to do. Do they want you to know about that? Do they tell you about it? And why they say, I ain't tell you about that, because they don't want you to look at your mama and daddy a certain kind of way.
But when it comes to the history of building a country, that's something that we should know and learn about.
This ain't something you own. The country you live in, your family is that's your dynamic. That's the people who close to you, and you don't want to know about them, or the family don't want you to know about them.
And if we want to be technical, my point of view of it, that's why a lot of people are breaking it, because it's things that should have been told. But you're not answering what I'm saying. What's the difference between what he's saying? What I don't want to. He's not saying the shit didn't happen. He's saying I don't want to further teach and indoctrinate that. That's
the way people feel.
That's facts.
Okay, so it was also facts that mama and daddy did.
And she should have told you. There's generation curses that we're breaking because it's things that we didn't know about that should have been told to us.
But we don't push the issue for them to teach. Man, come tell us that. You remember I had to go to my aunt to get stories about my family. They don't want you to know that.
We don't push the issue because we were taught not to. But since we know better, we do better. You need to learn. Like, we need to understand that what happened, we can learn from this. It happened. You can talk about all the great things that Caucasians done, Europeans done in this country, but we never talk about what African American people did or Indian Native people done in this country. The good and the bad, that should be taught because you can learn from each situation.
Man, I I respect your view on it. I don't think it should, because I think it creates a victim mentality. And when I thought about that, like I said, I done dealt with this in my own fam. Like, that y'all don't want me to know the history about family members, people who I'm around, family, versus the folk that I never had no interaction with. These, for all I know, are stories.
Well, see, I don't think necessarily it creates victim mentality. I think it creates, it creates something where we don't have to repeat that same thing or fall into that same category, or we know that we were something before this happened, and we're able to progress further. I don't feel like it's gonna set back a victim mentality.
Good banter, baby. We got 2 more parts to hit. All right, here we go.
Women's sports, and Riley is a remarkable young woman, has had a great career and done so many great things. I can tell you, if you get to know her, this is somebody that has their head on straight, and she's got a great set of values that guide her life, and we're honored to have her support. And part of the reason why we feel strongly about women's sports. Look, my wife and I have a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter, in addition to a 5-year-old son. Girls and women athletes deserve the right to compete with integrity and with fairness. And these are great opportunities for them. Their competition shouldn't be corrupted by...
And see, I didn't play that part, but at the beginning, Riley Gaines, who he's speaking of, she opened up the rally.
Yeah.
She spoke about how she swam against, she holds all these records as one of the top swimmers. She went to the University of Kentucky. She was the same one who, when she was in San Francisco, the LGBTQ community showed up and pretty much held her hostage in a room, wouldn't allow her to leave because of her beliefs. But now these are the same people who want to teach we should love everybody, but you hate somebody because they don't go along with what you teach. And how crazy is this that she actually swam against Lil Thomas? I don't even remember the real name, because if I did, I would call him by his real name. I wouldn't say no Lil Thomas. This is a man. She talked about in her speech, like, she has to get dressed in the same dressing room with this person, and they got male genitalia out, and they actually swam against each other and tied. And they told her, we're going to have to get a trophy to Lil. You can have a photo opportunity with it, but we got to give it to Lil to show that these people are included and that they're just as important, and that we got to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to show that we support this. You know how crazy that shit is if you really analyze it and think about it?
Right.
That shit is crazy.
That don't make sense to me at all.
No, it don't. But it's like the same thing. Like, that's why I told you it's gonna get a time, and when this start happening more and more, hey man, you go see men fighting and beating the shit out of women, but they identify as women,
and they're not gonna get charged with it.
What y'all gonna do then?
And I know that you trying to stay so far away from that topic, this topic, with women transgender and women becoming men and men becoming women. And you were sitting in the room when I was having this conversation with my cousin.
I ain't even get involved.
And the same question I kept asking, it was just like she wasn't comprehending. But explain to me this: why is it such an issue for a transgender woman to fit inside of a woman's space, but a transgender man doesn't go that far to try to fit inside of a man's space? Why is that?
In a nutshell, I would just say quickly, it goes back to the emasculating of men. Like, men are not painted due to a lot of our own doing, but a lot of society's doing. Men don't nobody look up to men no more. It's like, man, it's about the women now. So that's why you see it's really glorified when a man wants to become a woman. They like, yes, we got, because think about this. If you got men wanting to be women, then that's going to cut down on reproduction and it's population control. Because they not go sleep with women that have kids.
Absolutely.
That's why it's so celebrated.
Okay, so I hate to do this on your podcast. I hate to. So the woman that actually, the man that the transgender woman, because I don't want to offend anybody, because I got the terminology from my cousin, transgender woman that did the Bud Light commercials, right?
Dylan Mulvaney.
Transitioned into a woman.
And you see how that turned out for Bud Light, lost billions of dollars.
She did tampons, Nike, all that.
Mm-hmm.
She's a lesbian now. She's a lesbian now.
I wouldn't even believe that, to be honest. That probably is just something else.
But do you understand?
Yeah.
He turned it to she, which she now likes women.
That's the same thing with Dwayne Wade's son.
Which that's still reproduction. That's okay.
He turned to a girl and is dating a girl that turned to a boy.
Yeah. Which I prefer, to be honest with you. That makes more sense to me. That makes so much sense to me. That because they
so
still
just staying what you was created don't make sense to you.
No, that's common sense. But it makes more sense to me if you feel like you're a woman inside of a man's body, date a woman that's inside of a man's body. You know what I'm saying? And now y'all can reproduce.
Yeah, let's watch the last video piece and close this out, man. Okay. All right, here we go.
Discuss this, but it is wrong for physicians to perform sex change operations on minor children. And in the state of Florida, we recognize that for what it is. It is mutilation, and you will lose your medical license and go to jail if you do it. So we are proud to stand to protect our children. It's sad that we've had to do so much. And, it used to be the children were off limits, right? Now we've got a lot of negative forces doing down. So we've done that in Florida. My wife has been a big part of doing that. We're very family focused in Florida. We did not bring our kids on this, but they will be up in South Carolina soon. So don't worry.
So I'm going to close it out with that. Like, he's not going for none of the bullshit in a nutshell. And again, don't take my word for it. Don't take my lady's word for it because we went there. Go do your own research. When he first ran for governor, he won about 32,000 votes. When he ran for his second term, he won about 1.5 million votes. Dade County, go look up the research of how many. When Hillary won Dade County, it was like about 30%. He doubled that in Dade County on his second term. These is all facts. So what the media is painting you about this man is just horrible. He's a bigot. He's this, he's that. Everything that I have went and researched and looked at don't add up to what the media paint him as. So until y'all show me something different, for me, DeSantis, 2024.
2024. And Trump the vice president.
Hey man, so that completes another episode. Stand On It podcast. Keep in mind, audio episode drops every Friday, all major podcast platforms. The video episode drops every Thursday on YouTube at 5. Again, still working on the Patreon. I want to roll that out the right way. I don't just want to roll it out to say I got a Patreon, but I want to make sure it's the right way and I'm getting the right amount of traffic over there. Make sure you subscribe, like, rate, review. If you got any topics, anything you want me to talk about, shoot me an email, isaypodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, it's true.
Come and sit down, you gotta stand on it. If If it's for certain, let's have around. You gotta stand on it. Open the curtain, it's going down. You gotta stand on it. Cause I put my stamp on it. So you gotta stand. You gotta stand on it. 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 You gotta stand.